just like the U.S., just like Italy, they got the group that everybody wanted to be in.
Louis Van Gaal will be very happy. The USA are out. Folks.
Here we go.
The USA are out. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be really interesting. Local Let's
go.
E or
Let's
H?
go.
E or H?
Let's
Spain
go.
or Portugal?
No, it's happening. It's absolutely happening, boys.
Oh,
We're going to have ourselves a PST situation here. England and the USA. Mark them down in the knockout rounds. USA right now. Group B winners. Book it.
It's happened.
It's happened.
It's happened.
Oh, my God. And Joe has already predicted that England won't lose a match and they're going to win the whole tournament. So
how often did I tell you this? How often have I been saying this the last few weeks? And
buzzing.
England.
I'm buzzing.
I've absolutely said this. Oh, wow.
I'm so excited. We might get fired, Andy. That's how excited I am. We may not last the tournament.
The banter will be coming thick and fast for sure, guys. What do you think about that? Reaction live, Andy Edwards and Nick Mendola. Take it away. USA playing.
We were going to get a big boy. Yeah, it was going to happen. I think matchup-wise, I think raw talent, England probably got as much as anybody there in pot one. They've got the international experience from 2 major tournaments in a row that they've been to the semifinals and the final. The U.S. has none of that. England, obviously, massive, massive favorites for this group. And if they don't win the group, I think with 9 points, it's a big disappointment from England. That's my personal opinion right there.
I'm already booing Harry Maguire. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I am booing him. I'm going to boo him at the weekend. I'm going to fly and follow him around just to get him off his game. No, I don't like this whatsoever, but I also like that the U.S. will be clear underdogs here. I'll get real angry with England because their media is so dismissive of Americans. So, Joe, this really couldn't turn out better for us because if we lose, it's like, yeah, you're England. What do you want? And if it's anything other than that, it's like, ooh, you guys, geez, birthplace of soccer. Is it coming home? So just be ready. That's all I'm saying. I think it would be really good news, guys, if they get the European club instead of a European team instead of the African teams, because you might get England maybe a little bit juiced if it's Wales or Scotland. I think that could be a nice little distraction. And it is, isn't it? Yes. The European playoff team. This is a tough group, but it's not the worst group.
It just got tougher, but it's manageable. It's manageable in a way that we thought 2014 was not at all. I mean, think about what that group was and the fact that they got through it. Obviously a completely different team, a different coach and everything, a different time in the sport, in the country and everything. But this is not the most difficult group that the U.S. has ever had in a World Cup. I still think they get out. I think they finish second behind England. I don't know about you guys.
If you're Gregg Berhalter today, you were hoping to be able to watch less games. The only thing you wanted was not a playoff team there, right? And I think the Scotland or Wales part would benefit the U.S., but if it's Ukraine, I hate it. I think I am going to go ahead and say it. I fear that game. Yarmolenko is a great leader on that team. He's a good player. They're a hardened team. They've obviously gone through the wildest X factor this year with what's going on with the war. So it's going to be brutal. It's going to be funny again, not to be all over the English media, Joe, here, but they really should be saying this is easy now, but they won't because they don't want Scotland and Wales to be mad at them.
This, for me, is as close to a dream draw, I have to admit, with all the narratives around it. The USA and then Scotland or potentially Wales or Ukraine could make it through as well. But I think Wales with Bale and Scotland, how they did at the Euros, are probably favoured potentially over Ukraine. And obviously, it's a very tough situation for Ukraine right now with a lot of their players not being able to play for their club teams. I think they would be everyone's second favourite team at the World Cup, right, after your own nation. If they did qualify, everyone would want them to do well. And obviously, we send our thoughts and prayers out to everyone in Ukraine and what they're going through right now. It'd be great to see them at the World Cup. But for me, as a Brit and being a resident of the US, this draw is just absolutely bonkers, to be honest. So England, USA.
Well, how about the opportunity to get Scotland in the group stage back-to-back tournaments, 18 months apart?
I was at Wembley for that Euro 2020 group stage game between England and Scotland. A lot of kilts, a lot of bagpipes and a lot of whiskey. That's the way I'd sum it up best.
Do you think Weston McKennie will fist fight Scott McTominay? That's the question. They're two of the most intense players in every game they play. So I'm signed up for that. Guys, I'm flummoxed. I can't think about anything other than the United States group. And the thing I keep thinking about is I thought with Berhalter getting them back that they were in a 2-cycle coach situation now. And looking at this group, if they don't get out of the group stage, they are going to have a new coach for the second group. And this, I think the pressure is now absolutely huge, even if it's Ukraine, who I think is the best of the three. I think this was a day that the U.S. isn't just going back to the World Cup, but if they live up to their ability, if they choose the right squad, they should be expected, as Andy said, to finish no worse than second here. And who knows, if the England-U.S. game is last, we should be talking about them going into a game that's must win for the group and the potential to play the second place team from a winnable side. So even if they get out of the group, we're looking at the best group that I think you might want to pick to play in the next round, even though Sadio Mane is lurking there. So I don't know if you guys agree with me, but this was a day that the U.S. and all of the expectations should be no less than getting out of the group.
Andy, what do you think about that for the USMNT? Yeah, that draw worked out very well. You've got to be happy with that, right?
Yeah, group stage and then round of 16 progression, I think, sets up well.
Can I say one thing? I know the producers have a comment ready that I saw. And this goes out to our guy, Handsome Eric. USA fans are the only ones who want an easy road. Top teams don't care who they play. Facts. Oh, alternative facts, baby. Like, this is that. Every team wants the easiest road. And yes. I think you get into cliches here. You have to be very, I don't know. I am a stubborn person. And I always, to be the best, you got to want to beat the best. Yeah, if they're in your way. But if you can put me in the final today, I'd rather be cold and just have one game to win. I cannot. Sometimes a comment just leaps out you. And Handsome Eric, I like that you use the K at the end. I think maybe we could have a good conversation over a beer. But the all caps facts is too much for me. Too much for me.
There's a lot of facts flying around right now with this World Cup draw. But the fact is it's done. It's in the books, and we can now look forward to it in November.